Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. This afternoon, we are sending out a special message to all the members of parliament of the United Kingdom. The message is this: we've had information that the United Kingdom government plans to give aid to the federal government of Nigeria to fight the Boko Haram war. I believe that's something to that effect. We understand. We are here to categorically state that the federal, the UK, United Kingdom government must not provide any funding to the federal government of Nigeria, because the federal government of Nigeria is engaged in what is effectively silent genocide across the whole of what is known as Nigeria. As we speak, the federal government of Nigeria is arming Fulanis and encouraging Fulanis from across the whole of Africa to come to Nigeria, to come and live, and they would use the funds available meant for roads and things to situate the Fulanis from across Africa into Nigeria. And that has an impact, because the people who are there, the Yorubas, the Igbos, the Middle Belt, are being pushed out of our land. As we speak, in the whole of Southwest and in many parts of Southeast and in Middle Belt, there are Fulani terrorists. They are effectively terrorists who are populating the forests across the Southwest, Southeast, and Middle Belt. And they are doing a silent killing operation of Yorubas, of Middle Beltans, and of Igbos. And we are saying enough is enough. The Fulanis they should not be supported by the United Kingdom government, because any funding that you give to them will simply be used to buy more weapons. Here is the here is the evidence of what we have. Here is a young Fulani man who will tell you his story. They've already translated. It's already been translated on screen. Just watch and listen to his words. Read the words to understand what he's saying, and that is the evidence we have. And we are urging the United Kingdom government, led by Boris Johnson, to stop with immediate effect any attempts to provide any aid to the federal government of Nigeria, because the federal government of Nigeria is engaged in killing of Yorubas, killing of Igbos, in the killing of Middle Beltans. They are funding it. They are giving weapons to young Fulani boys to kill non-Fulanis. Here is the evidence that we put before all of you.
Idan ba gwamnati ta daure man wanda yake cikin daji ya ta'addanci ba, Allah ubangiji ya tsine man, Allah dauki rayuwata a wurin nan. Bahilla ce saniya aka san shi da ita, sai noma. Saniya ba ta haihuwa bindiga AK-47. Bahilla ce bai da makera da zai kera bindiga AK-47. Gwamnati ke turowa har muka samu. Mu kuma wallahi dalilin da ya sa, billahi lazi, shekara na 7 ina makarantar allo, amma lokacin da na dawo na tsinci kaina a cikin wannan abun, wallahi ina mamaki, kullum ina tunanin rayuwata, saboda mahaifana akalla a kasar dan ban.
So right there, now I am going to break down the words for you frame by frame. Let's go back to the beginning, and I'll try and then I'll pause it and talk about, so you can get to see the words on screen. It's spoken in Fulfulde, but it's been translated to English, so we can follow it. So I encourage all of the MPs to please listen to those words specifically. They are very, very important. It's really important now. And these are the basis upon which we are saying to the UK government, do not give any aid to the federal government of Nigeria. Those funds will be used to fund AK-47s that they will give to 16-year-olds and below to kill non-Fulanis. And here's our evidence. Here we go.
Idan ba gwamnati ta daure man wanda yake cikin daji ya ta'addanci ba, Allah ubangiji ya tsine man, Allah dauki rayuwata a wurin nan.
So he's saying there, and they are applauding. They are applauding. I'm not quite sure why they are applauding, but it says, I swear to the Almighty God that the government is the one arming us. That's evidence that we're telling you all. All the MPs, please watch this video. This is of extreme importance. Do not let the UK government fund terrorism with the misplaced knowledge of thinking you are going to be funding, helping the government. the government will simply pour the funds to buy arms for youths like this. And it said the government are the ones arming us. That's the evidence. Now. So it says, we Fulanis don't know guns. We only know cows and how to rear cows. Those are what they translated. Let me say it again. We Fulanis don't know guns. We only know cows and how to rear cows. So you can tell that this is a Fulani man. That's another evidence right there. So the government is funding Fulanis. They're giving them arms. That's a direct evidence. The government, the people who are in government, majority of them are Fulanis, and they are oppressing Igbos, they are oppressing Yorubas, they are oppressing Middle Beltons. And we urge the government of Boris Johnson, led by Boris Johnson, the Conservative government, to desist from providing any funding to the federal government of Nigeria, because those funds will be used to fund terrorism. Listen on. Now, says now, cows don't give birth to guns. I swear to God, we just sat down and was supplied AK-47 by the government. Those are his words. Let me just... So you see, cows don't give birth to guns. I swear to God, we just sat down and was supplied AK-47 by the government. Those are the words on the screen. So,
47.
see?
Bahilla ce bai da makera da zai kera bindiga AK-47.
See?
Gwamnati ke turowa har muka samu. Mu kuma wallahi.
I am not afraid to say the truth. Now, this is somebody that's supposedly a repentant Boko Haram or Fulani terrorist saying that the government supplied the weapons. Now, he would not have said that without the tacit support of the government. He would not have. But he said it. And they let this go out. And that's the evidence we need. Now.
Wallahi dalilin da yasa billahi lazi shekara.
Now it says here, I attended Islamiyya, and when I finished my school, we were given these weapons. So that's another evidence right there. Now, the schools that they are having in the north, many of them under the guise of Islamic teaching, they are teaching these youth terror tactics. Under the guise of Islamic teaching for Fulanis, they are teaching them terror tactics to be used against non-Fulanis to kill and to take land. There are many people who are in IDP camps in Middle Belt, for example, who cannot go back to their land because the Fulanis have taken the land over. And if Boris Johnson's government gives any funds, those funds will simply be used to buy more weapons. And we are giving you the evidence right here. Listen on.
Na bakwai ina makarantan allo. Amma lokacin da na dawo na tsinci.
He says he's going to talk about,
kaina a cikin wannan abun.
He says,
wallahi ina mamaki kullun ina tunanin rayuwata. Saboda mahaifana akalla a kasar.
So anyway, so it's saying what he was going to do with that. But I want you to leave. I'm going to leave that on the screen. Let me just.
Makarantan allo. Amma
no.
Billahi lazi shekara na bakwai ina makarantan allo.
Let me just go back again. I want you to have, I'm going to leave that on the screen, and that's, but I won't change from there until we finish this broadcast. It says here, I attended Islamiyya, and when I finished my school, we were given these weapons. And bearing in mind, we said earlier on that the government, he admitted that the government was giving them AK-47s. When you give any aid to Nigerian government, they will simply buy AK-47s to give to the Fulani youths to kill non-Fulanis like myself and others. Because we are Yorubas. There's a lot of Yoruba people who are contingent who are in the UK here. There's a lot of Igbo people who are in the UK. There's a lot of Middle Belt. There's not that many Fulanis. Because many of us, the Yorubas and Igbos, we've been pushed, Yorubas, Igbos and Middle Belt, we've been pushed out of our own land. We've been denied many of the things that we should have and to ensure that we are living our lives. And another thing I want to say is this. The UK government recently left EU. And when you left the EU, the people, there was a referendum on this, and the people said it is time for you to leave the EU, and you complied with the rule, with what the people said, with the will of the people. Now, we Yorubas and Igbos and Middle Belt, we are now agitating, we are working towards having our own independent nation, because after years of being in the same governance with the Fulanis, The Fulanis have been oppressing and suppressing many, many, many millions of us, to the extent that we've had to leave. Many of us are in the UK here, and in many Yobos and Yorubas and Middle Belts. We are in the UK and other places in Europe and around the world because of the failure of governance by the Fulanis. But they believe that they have this born to rule mentality, which we are saying we don't want any part of. We don't want. Many Nigerians will happily be living in Nigeria and not be coming in under immigration and all of that stuff. So what we are saying is this: if you fund the federal government of Nigeria, they will extend terrorism. What you should instead do is to ensure that those of us who are wishing, who now want to have our own nations, Yoruba nation, Biafra nation, Middle Belt, that we have that, just like the UK separated from Europe. Because at one point it was going to be United States of Europe. Now UK is standing on its own. Same thing for us in Yoruba land. We want to stand on our own because for years the Fulani government has failed us. There's been no infrastructure. Millions has gone missing, and we just want to have our own land, build and let our people reach their true potential within our own land. Same thing for the Igbos and Middle Belt. So what we are saying to you now is actually will be in the interest of the UK government to actually support us in going for self-determination, because as we speak, many of us, I'm a bit of an expert in terms of the Nigerian constitution. I've been reading it in depth, and one of the things we found out is that it was an imposed constitution, and there was at no point was a referendum put in place. There was no referendum, and when they drew up the 1999 constitution, indeed it was a military edict that was now translated, that was now made into a constitution by the military, and they used Professor Awal Yadudu as the conduit through which they could use to do that. Okay, now we're going to have a constitution, and Professor Awal Yadudu himself often says that we adopted the constitution. There is no way that a constitution is adopted. There is a referendum for a constitution to be accepted. It has to be a referendum, very much like the UK leaving the EU. When the UK left the EU, they carried a referendum, and the vote of the people decided that they were going to leave, and they left. The same thing, the same process is what we are looking to get in place for the Yorubas, the Igbos, and Middle Belt, because we realize and recognize that the Fulanis, they are asking for Fulani people to come from across the whole of Africa and live in Nigeria, and they will use government money to fund that. I kid you not. That is what is being said. And I'll give you that evidence at the time when the time comes. But at this point, I want you to focus your mind on what we're saying here. This young man, a Fulani man, said he attended Islamia, and when he finished school, they were given this weapon. So the Fulanis are being armed by the federal government of Nigeria to target non-Fulanis in an effort to take away non-Fulani land and make it Fulani land. So we urge all MPs, please share this podcast. Please watch it. Speak to your Yoruba constituents. Speak to your Igbo constituents. Have a meeting with them. Get to understand that this is a real crisis. Many of your constituents are having sleepless nights, and they're worried about the fact that the federal government of Nigeria is engaged in silent genocide that many governments have been silent about, including the United Kingdom government. Now, the manner of aware of the facts. Now we are making the facts aware of and available for you to see, and we are asking our MPs to take action to ensure that they do not support terrorism. UK is a bastion of human rights and fight against terrorism, and many of us know that. We call on you now to lead by example. Do not fund terrorism in Nigeria by giving any aid to the federal government of Nigeria that will use that fund to simply invite more Fulani to come into Yoruba and into that territory and try and what is called Nigeria now and take more land and push out and kill millions of Yorubas, millions of Igbos, millions of Middle Beltans. So this is of the utmost importance. We urge the UK government not to give any aid whatsoever to the federal government of Nigeria, as they will simply use it to buy more AK-47s to give to under 16-year-old Fulanis to kill non-Fulanis inside what is known as Nigeria. And Nigeria is no longer workable because they are oppressing and they are not doing that's bad governance. And we cannot, as UK, as a bastion of good governance, cannot in all honesty continue to support bad governance. When the people decide that they are going, which is what many of the regions are saying, Yoruba people are going, Biafrans want to go Middle Belt, then it is as a light, as a champion of good governance, what should be done is for the UK to encourage each people to speak up through democracy to flourish in each of those regions. It is no longer sustainable to be inside contraption Nigeria. Funding that would simply mean that you're funding terrorism against the people of Igbo and Yoruba people, Igbo people, and Middle Belt. So with the urgent importance, MPs, please watch this video, share it, and get in touch with your constituents, Yoruba constituents, Igbo constituents, Middle Belt constituents in your own constituency, and get their own feelings about this. Don't just take my word for it. Plus this video. This is evidence that you cannot ignore. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Please share this video with your MPs, and I will shortly be accompanying it with a letter which you should also send to them. Thank you for watching. You're watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Please subscribe to us on YouTube also. Thank you. Goodbye.